Hey everybody, it's Michael DeSilvis in the news today. Talking about, we're going to title the segment not in the news, but we're going to title How We Treat One Another Part 2. Today I was talking with my friend Sean, and to continue on from what I get from the way she acted today, she still continued to want to be self-righteous. She still wanted to be prideful. She still wanted to be judgmental. And she really didn't want to hear constructive criticism. Her friend Joy Woodford, which is a friend I know, is the same way. She likes to give. They both like to give out advice, but they don't like to take it. And that's what I see here. She started telling about a story to me today and she's got bad issues with pride. But she started telling me about a story today about this couple in the neighborhood that, the girl, they spent time in their home with their children. They went over there, did things with them, with the family. That's in question. And then they would come over in turn and eat meals and spend time with them. So it seemed like a good thing. So this lady, she said that the girl made an accusation saying that the girl, the lady that's in question, the parent was telling her how to raise their children and she didn't like it. Well, the way that I look at it now, when I looked at it and I did some counseling notes after you left, after you stormed out of here, because I yelled at you because you were telling me, well, I'll get to that. But let me tell this first, because I'm jumping ahead of myself. A lot of times when people are your real friend, they're going to tell you things you don't want to hear. Because they're going to tell you the truth about things, because they care about you, and they love you as a person. And I think it's all this girl was doing. Now, if she was a strange girl, and she started telling you about your kids, then I would be offensive. But if you've known her for a few years or a year or more, and she's been nothing but true to you and telling you things, I don't think she was doing anything harmful, Sean. I don't think she was harming you at all. I think she was just trying to give you some pointers because she's older than you. And people that are older tend to give advice because that's what they talk about in the church. But since you don't go to church, a lot of women tend to mentor people who are younger because that's what they're told in the Church of Christ. It's how it is in the Bible. And I think that's all she was trying to do is be a sister in the Lord and trying to help you out and give you some pointers so you could raise your kids better. Because at times, I'm wondering who's the parent more in your home when I'm there, when I visit you, when I come over there on Sundays or other times. Your children seem to be more in charge and are telling you what they want rather than you telling them what they want. Sometimes you tell them what they want in front of me, but you need to do that more often because you're the parent and they're the child. Or a teenager, or tween. And they need to listen to you. They don't. It's like when you're on the phone, if I did that when I was with my mother, she would spank me when I got off the phone. When she got off the phone when I was little. I stopped doing that. They're too old. They shouldn't be talking real loud around you when you're on the phone. I notice that a lot. And you'll be having conversations with them while I'm trying to have a conversation with you, and you're doing this with other people, and it's rude and disrespectful. Because it's like you value what they're saying more so than what I'm saying. You're trying to be multitasking, but you can't be multitasking because you can't have conversations for one people. Most people can't because it's just too much thought process and too much things to pay attention to, and it's not something you're able to do. Some people can, but you can't. A lot of people can't. You can't because you get all upset because it wears you down because it's too much concentration to listen to all the things. To more than a bunch of people talking to you because it's like that with a lot of people. That's okay. But you don't have to get angry about it. You don't have to, if they're talking to you, they need to wait till you get off the phone. When you're talking to somebody, you don't need to go and talk to your kids. You do that a lot. They'll come in and talk to you and they don't see you on the phone. They ought to know you're on the phone. If you're talking out loud, you're not talking to yourself. So if they see you on the phone, you're walking around, you're on a headset or whatever, they need to look around, see what's in your ear. So I can see the apparatus when you wear it. I've seen you with it on before. When I was over there talking to somebody, like on Sunday. That's all you were doing most of the time, and I felt like I was very upstaged, and it's like I don't mean anything, and I was disvalued, and I thought that was kind of rude and disrespectful because if I'm company, I should be getting more of the priority because I come over your house and I'm family, but yet, I guess I am family because you treat me just like your children, and you tune them out at times when you need to spend more time with them, and they probably feel like they're, that's why they got to repeat themselves at times, like Jeremy does, or they feel like they've been disrespected, too, because you give them the treatment and you value your friends more than you value the people who really are your friends or your family at times, and it needs to be the other way around. those people who you talk to, like I said in the other video, are people that you can talk to every day of the week. But when it comes to your family, you should talk to them more. You should talk to them on the weekend and then deal with your friends during the week. That's how I do it. Like Joy calls me, I don't always get back with her right away. You made an issue on the other video, I reiterate, you made an issue that you take it personal if somebody doesn't return their calls every day because you think they should call you right away, like it should be promptly. It should happen, and you as one of your pet peeves. And that should be like that because some people don't always call back right away. Different people do different things, but it doesn't mean they don't like you or they don't want to be your friend or they don't love you. It's just because different people, that's how they are. Some people talk once a month. Some people, I have a couple friends that are like that. But, if you take it personal and you don't want to be a friend with them anymore, then make them an acquaintance. But when they do call you, be friendly. That's what I said to you. And it's like today, backing up today, you open up and you say, well, I don't really want to say anything about this, but I'm a little mad about something. I said, what are you mad about? And that's what friends do. They talk. And that's what I was asking you. What are you mad about? Well, I don't really tell you who it is. I don't really. I said, well, is it the Baptist people? And she said, I don't want to tell you. You don't need to know who it is. Says, that's who it is. Because your body's saying one thing, but you're being really mean and rude to me because you won't tell me anything. Because you think you're gossiping, and you're not gossiping. All I'm asking you is that who it is? And you had a real attitude. And I said, well, it doesn't matter because I don't know them, per se. But, I don't think she was being mean, Sean. I mean, you're friends. You did things with her. I think she was just trying to help you, give you some pointers. She's giving you what is known as constructive criticism. I noticed that you like to give it out real quick, but you don't like to receive it. And Joy's like that. And you all need to stop doing that. Because that's why she don't have a lot of friends. And that's why you lose friends. Because it's like you want to tell everybody how to do their life, where they are with the Lord or where they're standing, and your understanding of it. But then when they have a different ideal about it, or a different view, or you don't agree with them, you push them over to the side. And that's what you did with me. And that's why you make those accusations, say I indoctrinate your kids, when I haven't done anything of the sort. That's a blasphemy accusation you made. When I haven't done anything at all like that. They may see things what I say because it makes more sense than what you all teach. Some of the stuff you all teach is really crazy teaching. It's not even biblical. And to tell you the truth about it, and I have a hard time following as an adult because it doesn't coincide with the Scripture. And I always go by, I'm like a fact student. When I look at the Bible, I look at science. I look at how it fits with the timeline. I look at how it fits with if it applies to us today or whether it doesn't. And I look at, if it's relevant today, because some stuff isn't. But a lot of it is in the Old Testament today, as it was then. In the New Testament, relishes it mostly. 90% of it is repeated. So most of the Old Testament is valid, what it says. But there's some things in there. We don't do sacrifices. We don't observe the feast. For Christians, Jews, some might do that, but Christians don't. Because you don't need them, because Jesus was the sacrificial lamb. And he died for that, so that's why those things have been abolished. Now, of course, Jews feel differently because they're mixed up in their understanding and interpretation of it. Jesus came here mainly primary to speak to the Jews. He spoke a little bit to the Gentiles, but Paul took over and basically talked to all the Gentiles, to everybody else. But Jesus mainly primarily spoke to the Jews to convert them from Judaism, or what we know as, their traditions and laws and ordinances, to the New Testament teachings. That's what Jesus was doing, converting them from Judaism to Christianity. And that's the truth. It's not my opinion. And then, because I'm a student of the Bible. I'm a preacher. I have a degree in the Bible. Okay? So I know what I'm talking about. I'm not guessing here, like Charlie. He doesn't have a degree in the Bible. I do. Okay? And I'm not trying to brag, and I'm being prideful here. I'm just saying the truth. You ask me a question, I can say something with authority. Friends, it comes from God, and it comes from Scripture, and it comes from education. I do know what I'm talking about, okay, in the subject, because it's my area, one of my concentrations I went to school for. And another thing, when someone's saying something to you, and I'm trying to help you, like they were trying to do, you get offensive because you don't want to hear criticism. You get mad. You don't want to hear what they got to say. You push them away when yet they were trying to help you. And then that girl don't want to be friends with you anymore because you hurt her feelings, because you copped the attitude with her like you did to me. I raised my voice to you, and yeah, I did yell because you kept running your mouth while I was talking. And I don't like people to be talking while I'm talking. And when someone's talking, you need to be quiet. You don't keep talking over top of them, because that's what you were doing, and that's why I yelled at you. Okay? I don't usually do that, but I usually do that when kids do that at camp. I will yell to get people to be quiet, because I was still talking. You do that. When you want to say something, you want to get your point out, but you don't listen. You ask a question, and then you're out quickly to answer it like Joy does. And you don't know what they're going to say. You try to analyze what people are going to say. You think you know everything about what they're going to say, and you don't have a clue what I was going to say. Because I'm listening to you. I'm asking questions about what happened with you and the Baptist people over there in the neighborhood. You know, when I asked, well, they agree that there's a hell and that you'll go to hell if you don't repent. They're telling the truth there. You know, y'all don't agree with that, because Charlie teaches this dogma that, you know, hell's just going to be abolished one day, and it doesn't even say that or support that in the scriptures. You know, it's some hellish teaching there. It's a false teaching there. It's cultic. You know, there's nothing in the Bible that indicates that at all, where fire and hell is of righteousness, when yet it's of condemnation or judgment and damnation. It's not, the fire in hell is not like the Moses and the burning bush fire. And you can touch it, and it's purifying fire because it's a holy fire. It's not that kind of fire. In hell, it's a burning fire, it's a judging fire, and it's not going away. It's not going to ever be abolished. Because the Bible doesn't say that. You come up with that. I've never heard that anywhere else, except when I go over your house. Everywhere I've been, they don't say that. The scriptures don't say that. Hell will be there just like heaven is a real place. Hell is a real place. Okay? So it's like all these different things. And you get mad at people because they don't agree with you the same. And because they don't see the same way you do, you get mad and alienate them. That's one thing I noticed about Kathy. She doesn't, your friend Kathy, when I talked to her that one time, I learned a whole lot about her. She's a lot like you. She don't like to accept constructive criticism. When people are real friends, they tell you things, or a counselor will say things to you, or a psychologist will say things to you, a therapist, that you don't want to deal with or talk about. But it's the truth, because that's their job, is to help you find out what's wrong so they can help you become a better person. That's what psychology and counseling teaches. That's what real friends do, because they're trying to help you. They're not trying to put you down. They're not trying to judge you. They're trying to help you. But you come across all self-righteous and judgmental and assassinating people's character. That's why, and you make a comment, oh, I don't know why I don't have friends. That's the reason why you enjoy don't have friends. Because you push people away, because you like to dish out criticism to everybody else. You're so quick to that. You make accusations that people are doing things to your children and aren't doing things. Then you say they're indoctrinating your children when they're not. I haven't indoctrinated any of your children. I haven't done anything to your children that is wrong, except try to help them to know Jesus and help them to have a closer relationship and walk with the Lord. That's all I've done, because I love your children to death. I love Beth Ann. I love Stephen. I love Jeremy. I love John like they're my own children. And how dare you say that I'm indoctrinating your kids, because that is just a total lie from hell. And you base it on that and not allow me to see your children because you think I did that. It's just totally absurd and crazy lunacy thinking. You know, and I don't care what you think or what Charlie thinks, because if you really think what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying is correct. You don't make assertions like that. That's your opinion, but they're opinions that shouldn't be made or even said. Because if you want to have a friend, you don't talk to people like that. You are out of line today. You're asking me and telling me about what happened, and then you won't even, then when I ask you more questions about it, you don't want to hear nothing about it because you think you know what I'm going to say. You think I want to criticize you. You think I'm siding with them. I'm not siding with them. I'm trying to find out what's happening, because I wasn't there. I hear your version of it, but I want to know what happens. So it's my role as a counselor to find out. It's my role as an educator to find out. I'm going to help you, and I'm going to tell you things like a friend, because they're things that I'm not going to tell you that you want to hear to make you feel good. That are lies. I'm going to tell you the truth. You are a prideful, self-righteous, arrogant person. You do not like criticism. You really want me to break it down? That's what you are. You need to work on those things. This is what causes you to lose friends. This is why Joy loses friends. You know, she likes to sleep with men, to cuddle with them. The Bible says it's wrong. You've talked to her. I've talked to her. But when someone says something to her about it, just like you do, you get offended, and then you get an attitude with them when they're trying to help you. And it's not Christian, it's not right, and it's not normal. I wasn't out of line here. You're sitting there trying to talk over me when I'm trying to talk to you and ask you questions, and then you don't want to talk about it anymore when you already talked about it. You weren't gossiping. I don't know the Baptist couple over there in the corner. I don't know any of the people in that neighborhood where you live. So I'm not going to go back there and tell them. You don't have to worry about that. I'm a friend. I don't do that. I'm a preacher of the Word of God. I hear stuff from people in this complex, from old people, young people, all kinds of people all the time. That's my job. I'm sworn. I'm ordained. I'm not going to say nothing to nobody. You can trust me when you tell me something, but be prepared because I'm going to give you some warnings and give you some things to help you because I'm a true friend. When you're a true friend, you do that because you want to help somebody. I'm not judging you or condemning you or siding with them. You do that with me. Sometimes when I'm talking, I feel like you side with them. You don't even know all the facts. But you're so quickly to judge me and say I'm doing things wrong when you don't have no clue or idea. You only heard a little bit of it because you were zoning out. And you didn't hear but just a little bit of it. Because you're not there. It's like you're there, but you're miles away somewhere else. Sometimes when I'm talking to you, and your kids say that's why Jeremy repeats things to you. Because sometimes he don't feel like he's being heard. It's not because he wants to be perfectionist. It's because you're not always listening. Because you're somewhere else. Or you're on the phone. Or you're ignoring him. Or tuning him out like you do to me. And everybody else. And people pick up on that. It's rude. It's disrespectful. And it's not what people do when you want to be friends with somebody. Okay? So when we treat people, we don't want to be prideful. That's one of the biggest sins that Christ dealt with and spoke about. And in fact, Paul addresses this in the book of Romans. Because it was a big problem then, and it's still a huge problem today. And that's what destroys everything is pride. Pride is the conduit of the main sins that happen, why people do sins in their life. Or why they act certain ways, like what we talked about. That are not the way you should act. Towards people that are really trying to help you. I mean, this girl called you honey. This girl had you in her home. This girl had you doing things with her grandchildren or children. You were doing things. She came over to your house and did things in your home. You knew each other for more than a year. She was trying to help you. God, why can't you understand that? I don't think she was trying to harm you. Now, she was not. If you didn't know her and she started telling about your kids, then I can understand why you got offensive. But she knew you. She's your friend. She's trying to reach out to help you, to make you a better parent, a better person. And you threw her and blew her away and copped the attitude like you do with me and nitpicked and judged her. And then you made her feel uncomfortable and hurt her feelings. And she got mad. She just got tired of talking to you because she couldn't get through to you. Because that's how you do. You don't like to criticize. You don't like criticism. But you'd love to give it to them. But you don't want to hear it yourself. That's the big problem I see with you. So anyway, I'll see you later. I don't think I'm coming Sunday. I don't think I want to see you for a while for nothing. I'm going to make other arrangements to get my groceries and all right now. I think what you've done on Sunday, what you did today, you just really you really pushed the button. You really pushed the button, and I don't think I can be friends with you anymore. And I hate to say that. I love you. I love your children. It's nothing personal about your children. Your children didn't do this. You did that. You need to say you're sorry. You really were wrong. You were out of line today. And the only reason why I yelled at you is because you were not listening. You were running your mouth and not listening, like Joy does. You know, when someone's talking to you, you need to be quiet. Like when you talk to me, I'm quiet, and then I interject after you're finished, not interrupting you while you're speaking. You need to remember that. I thought I had a child in here. I thought Beth Ann was in here. You're like a little kid. You are a grown woman. Act like it. Behave like it. Show the temperament like it. Listen to people. You don't have to agree with them, but by God, listen. Some things you don't agree with what they say may actually help you and be quite beneficial because they're trying to help you to make you a better person, to make you a better parent, and to make you realize that there's more out there than just having friends and being in the spotlight. They're trying to make you a witness unto Christ. They're trying to mentor you. Because in the churches, like I said earlier on, that's what real friends do. They tell you things you don't want to hear. They tell you the truth about things because they love you. Like when I tell you things, it's not because I'm attacking Sean or get after you. No, I'm trying to help you. Okay? So when people are talking, you need to listen. Don't be so quick to judge. Don't be prideful. Don't be self-righteous. Don't be judgmental. Because you are like that. All the time. You have a chip on your shoulder. You think you're better than everybody. I hear that from Joy. I hear that from other people that have talked to you that I know. I hear that something from my mother when she's talked to you. You act like you're better than everybody else sometimes. You come across like that. You're prideful. It's a bad sin. Stop it. That's why you're losing friends. Stop it. Nobody likes that. Okay? Get rid of it. Deal with it. Go to the doctor. Get an evaluation. Increase your medicine. Get on some new medicine. Start taking your medicine if you stop, because you're not acting like you normally do. You don't nitpick and say things like you said to me on Sunday. You know me for over 8 years, and you're going to tell me that you don't like what I'm doing? You know, you shouldn't say that. If you know my personality is like that, you should keep it inside. There's things that you do that drive me crazy. Like when I want to go home from the store, you're in there talking to your friends for over an hour sometimes. I'm sitting there waiting for you because you want to witness every time Dick and Harry about Jesus. It's great, but when I have schedule, I'm losing business sometimes because of you. I have a timeline. You want to do that on your time? Great. But, you know, I appreciate you helping me out, but I have a timeline too. My time is valuable, like you were saying on Sunday. You don't have no compensation of time. You know, I appreciate you helping me out, but you need to be also take the same advice, lady. You're going to dish it out, you need to take it. Okay? Nobody is at fault here. But the thing is, you need to learn and listen. That's the problem with you. And you need to be more like parents in there. If you say something, you and Charlie need to stick to it. And stop giving in. They're not learning nothing from you when you do this. All they're doing is learning is by going to the other person. That is not how you do it. It's not a good guy, bad guy parent mentality. When you both say something, you need to stick to your guns and do it. Because that's when they learn. When you say they're grounded or they can't do something, you both do it. Because that's what parents do. They don't have one person being the softy. These kids aren't learning nothing from you. They're just learning how to manipulate so they can get what they want from one parent to another. They're not learning the lesson. Do you understand? Comprende? Okay. I hope so. Anyway, it's Michael DeSilvis. I want to say, you know, there's we got the letter here for April. We're going to do that on the 3rd. But, you know how I do that as a courtesy for the apartment complex. We won't do that till the 1st. So I said 3rd, but I meant the 1st. Then we'll do that on Wednesday. Or, well, yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that on Wednesday because tomorrow is the 1st. So, but we'll do it on Wednesday, and definitely, you know, we'll get this out to you. So probably do this tomorrow. But anyway, I just want to say that I was vice president here at the community for, I could say, only 3 weeks. There was phone trouble, and Sue, who's the president, she said she's not going to be president of me because she didn't fail to come over here to see what was going on. She said she tried to call my number, she couldn't get through because I changed phone systems and forgot to call her, so it's my fault. And I'm not reliable, it was according to her, because she couldn't get through. Instead of her walking over, she knows where I live. So she could have came over, because she came over here before to talk to me about stuff, you know, in the past. You know, so she could have walked over. She's saying I should have took the initiative to go over there. I didn't know they had a meeting. I didn't know anything. I didn't get no notices or anything. So, yeah, I mean, my phone wasn't working right. She should have came over here because sometimes things happen. But that shouldn't make me not be a vice president. She said, well, I think you could be a committee member. I didn't say anything to her. I was like, well, if I can't be vice president, what I'm called to do, because I understand what it means to be a vice president. I know I can take over. I can do that. I preach. I run a church. I can do this stupid community thing. It's nothing. It's just easier than church. I could do all that paperwork myself. I could fill it all out. I could have wrote up a draft. I could have done all that if I know what we're talking about. If me and you got together like we're supposed to do, Susan, it's not all my fault. You know, then I could have wrote up all that stuff because I know how to type all that stuff up. But I have no idea what you want to write a draft about. I have no idea about it because we didn't talk about it. And you never came over here. I didn't know anything about it. You all had a secret board meeting or that board meeting happened last week because I didn't hear anything about it. Nobody came over here to tell me anything. I didn't know. My phone was not working right, like you said. It's working right fine now. But the thing is, I didn't know nothing about it. So why should I lose my position? You know, like I said, just because my phone wasn't working right. It's because I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to be reachable. Just sometimes things happen. So you made a call on that based on that one thing. That's totally wrong. You know, I think you need to rethink that. You know, I could have done all the stuff that whoever's helping you to do this, I could have done if you would have talked to me and came over here. You're like me, if I knew something was wrong and I couldn't get through to somebody, I would have walked over to that person's apartment, knocked on the door, and seen if they were okay. And then came in and talked to them about these things. And then we could have brainstormed and did this together. But see, you didn't do that. Okay? That's not my fault. I'm sorry I had problems with the phone. But see, all this stuff could have been remedied if you would have gave me your phone number. I don't have your phone number. So I don't understand, for the love of God, because you have called me on my regular phone before in the past. Even though I gave you a cell phone number, but I gave you the other number too in the past. I don't know if you lose numbers or you throw them away. I don't know. But you've called me on my regular phone line before. And so I don't know what happened. I think you just didn't want me being president or vice president. So whatever, if I can't do that, I don't want to do nothing here. It's probably a good thing for me. It's probably doing me a favor, because it's a lot of BS. And you're not getting paid for it, and you're not going to be appreciative for what you're doing. So you probably did me a favor. I don't probably have time with that because I'm a preacher, and I don't have time for the politics here. I wish I could help, but I don't feel like I'm needed or accepted. So you probably made the right decision by hiring this, tomboy or this good guy that you're with who's really helping you with that. Now he's the savior. When you could have came over here yourself. You shouldn't blame it on me and say I should have came over to your house. Why should I do that? I didn't know I didn't know things were going on. I didn't even know you called me till you told me. So it's not my fault. Maybe if there's a problem with the phone, you should have came over here. That's what any normal person would do. But anyway, that's how I would do things. But people are weird. You're funny. A lot of people are, and people do weird things and they're so judgmental and they're so quick to make accusations, and that's just totally wrong. Anyway, so when we talk about people, we need give people benefit of the doubt, find out what the heck's going on, so they make jump into assumptions. And if I can't be vice president like I was going to be, I don't want to do anything in this community. That's what I was elected to do, and I will do the job if you talk to me. Problem is, you don't want to do all this stuff. You wanted to just plan the trips. That's what I get from people. That's what I've heard from other people too. And I would be doing all the work. I would be doing your job, basically, because all you want to do is just plan the trips. As you told me, you don't want to be a president. You want to get somebody to do all the work for you, basically. And to me, when you're a president, you're supposed to do all this work yourself. The vice president just kind of backs up what you're doing, and then they'll set it on meetings and things. But, it's like, I would be doing all the presidential work. And I just felt that that's what you were doing, and I didn't think that was right, because if you're going to be a president like you want to be, then you need to do all this, draft all these things yourself. And if you don't know how to do it, then maybe people shouldn't put all their faith in you to be a president. I mean, I'm just saying this because it's like I felt like you were putting all the work on me. I have a church to run, and being a vice president, I can do this. I can do every bit of it. I run a church. It's a lot harder than running a community thing. Trust me. I have to deal with the county, the state. I have to deal with I have to deal with Nancy sometimes with certain things that I do here with the church. It's a lot more things going on than being a president or vice president of a social club, or a community. Trust me. A lot more things going on. A lot more things, a lot more circles, a lot more higher stuff going on. You're taking people's lives into into it's confidential information you're dealing with. And that's not what you deal with in the community. And the preacher, you deal with all kinds of things that are very confidential and very private of people's intimate lives, in this complex and even outside who I deal with. But the thing is, I can do this. It's just that I never was brute. You never came over here. You never seen if I was okay. So that's your fault. That's not all my fault. I didn't even know you called me. I didn't even know you all had a meeting last week. You didn't call me. You all decided to have a meeting and jump the gun, and didn't even talk to me to see if I was okay. And then you're saying, well, I think you ought to be a committee member. No, I don't want to be anything. I want to be what I'm supposed to be, vice president. I don't want to be a committee member. If I can't do the job, I don't want to do any of it. That's the way I'm here to do a duty, and you overshadowed me. You jumped the gun. You wouldn't have this meeting. You didn't talk to me. You didn't come over to see what was going on. And I feel like you're not being presidential material. I feel like you jumped the gun. I feel like you should have talked to me about it first. So they're going behind my back. And that's what you did. Okay? But anyway, it's Michael DeSilvis. Donations, subscribe down below. Down below this video is a little banner that says subscribe. Part 2, how we treat one another, how we talk to one another. That's how it is. And that's how it really, we should be like that. We should treat people like God would treat you. We should be like Jesus and be understanding, more compassionate, and loving as people. And not be so quick to judge people or to be so offensive when people are really trying to help you. And that's what it's really all about, essentially, in the core message of the Gospels and in the Bible. Remember the Bible, the granddaddy theme of the Bible, the whole Bible, the Old Testament, New Testament, is if you will be my people, I will simply be your God. That's the whole theme of the thesis of the Bible. Love you. Shalom. Take care.